Do you remember about 10 to 15 years ago, if you even uttered or mentioned you watched anime, everybody looked at you in disgust. Everybody starts distancing themselves from you like it's COVID all over again. Every woman in a 50-mile radius was no longer moister than an oyster, and is now drier than the sand in the Sahara Desert. The local bully would grab you by the head, spit a leggy down your throat, and whilst it slid down the fleshy interior walls of your throat, they would laugh at you saying you probably watch Pokemon and hentai 24/7, but little did they know you were actually combining the hobbies and donating loads to Vaporeon in your spare time. That is not an accurate representation of my experience, but I did have an Attack on Titan bag and a YouTube channel making anime meme videos, but anime has changed over the years. Not only are people free to express their interest in the animated form of media now, and are no longer considered to be disgusting homunculuses and suspected of having children in their basement, but it's gone mainstream where the same people that ridiculed it are now watching it. And in 2017 there was a big push by streaming giants like Netflix to add more anime to their streaming services and make it more readily available. Anime is more popular than it has ever been.
Holy shit! What is that?
And there is more interest in anime than ever before. One Piece, Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, JoJo, Bleach, Naruto, Kiss X Sis, and now Jujutsu Kaisen, and unfortunately My Hero Academia, are all considered legends and absolute cinema.
Stretch that dick!
And have been immortalized in people's top 10s or god forbid people's My Anime list. Do people even use that anymore? Celebrities are even showing interest in animes now. Publicly, with no shame anymore. Bill Burr made a full video on his YouTube channel about how much he likes One Punch Man.
I keep forgetting this show I started to watch. I watched the first 3 episodes and I absolutely fucking loved it. And I tweeted about it. It was a cartoon from Japan. I guess they're called anime, which I did know that. Like, I tweeted that I like this show called One Punch Man.
Christian Bale likes Studio Ghibli creations and even offered to voice act in one of the English dubs.
Now you can come here whenever you like.
Billie Eilish likes JoJo, which I can't see. Terry Crews likes Spirited Away. Daniel Radcliffe liked Monster. P. Diddy liked Yosaga no Sora. Chris Brown was another that liked One Punch Man. And on a completely unrelated note, Osama bin Laden liked Naruto. But as it is today, you can be as open as you want about liking anime. Probably due to the fact it is everywhere now. It is considered mainstream. It's even in Fortnite, for God's sake. It indirectly led to the invention of VTubers that are doing the halftime shows for sporting events. Anime has nowhere near the reputation it had years ago. That hate has been directed to the adults that watch My Little Pony and Bluey. But today's video is a step away from the usual content, and because I haven't talked about anime in a while, in months, and I thought I would clean your palate with a light-hearted video about how anime has changed to become more mainstream and socially acceptable, whilst also becoming one of the most gate-kept, overworked, people's entire identity.
Go beyond.
Plus?
Ultra.
And one of the most profitable and entertaining forms of media. Because once again, you're speaking to a pro. I didn't waste 6 years of my life making slop like this for no reason.
I'm done. Daddy isn't done speaking. You will come back here.
Nowadays, you don't really need a vibrator, so throw away your rose toy and instead go to Twitter or Reddit, if you have slightly more brain cells. Turn your vibrate notifications on and say one of the following statements. One Piece is 1,000+ episodes of NyQuil. I've seen better choreographed fight scenes by a blind, limbless man than in Dragon Ball. Attack on Titan is for edgy teens that have only just graduated from Coco Melon. I used the tears from the fans that watched Clannad After Story to lube up my penis. The Cowboy Bebop opening would have been better if it was conducted in Braille, and Spike dies at the end. Then shove the phone up your crevice and let your prostate enjoy the vibrations that can only be measured by the Richter scale, tasing your asshole, because some people that really love one anime will publicly crucify you if you said anything about said anime that can remotely relate to criticism. Maybe you'll get a few death threats, derogatory comments, and racial slurs in your inbox as well. Or maybe you get stopped at the pearly gates constructed around animes like Madoka Magica, because the White Knight gatekeepers would all concur that you obviously didn't understand the deeper layers of meaning behind this anime, and your brain is obviously too small to understand the plot, and you must be a dribbling, clinically brain-dead vegetable. So an isekai enjoyer. And these people usually tag some very precise and accurate racial slurs to their messages. Or maybe you make a funny meme about an anime character a few years ago that is known to be a female, but you make the joke they look like a guy, and a person that thinks this character has gained a pulse and transcended the 2D realm and gives them material worth like they're living and breathing, and makes the claim you are transphobic. And just how the fuck? That comment has been repeating in my head non-stop, rent-free in the fucking penthouse of my brain for years, because it makes no sense, and I hope that person accidentally kicks a toothpick into a wall and accidentally dislodges their toenail like it is the Pain Olympics all over again. Anime fans are another breed. Some just like animes they grew up with as a child, like Dragon Ball Z. They don't explore much outside of Dragon Ball, but watching Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time in front of an old TV, if you put your eyes to it you could count the pixels, and had a bigger back end than anything Pyrocynical fantasizes about, but that is a core memory for them. Yeah, they'll have a phone case and background of the show, but that's where it stops. They never argued with others about the show, they never joined in the community lynchings, they simply just enjoyed the show, and no matter anyone else's opinion, they're not going to take that away from them. These people are the silent majority of any anime fanbase. Then you have people that take it 10 times more seriously, like their whole life revolves about anime in general, or just one specific anime.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday Kotonoha.
They've got all the figurines, all the merch, even the off-brand body pillows, and the rare holy grail that is a fleshlight styled after one of the characters. These people are the loud minority of anime fandoms, and people you can find in every internet community.
Look at you. Thinking you have all the power in the world, thinking you could trick me. I've fallen for your illusion. How disappointing. So, you're gonna longingly gaze at me.
The fuck did he mean by longingly gaze at me? And the more seriously they take this anime, and not treat it like a work of fiction that has relatively no impact on anyone, the more likely it's going to come off as things like cringe. Or they'll just send you racial slurs for saying something about their anime. They usually take up 1 to 2% of all fans, but with how loud they are, they usually set the reputation of that community, especially of the animes they represent. Kind of like how fairies are displayed to be depraved, unredeemable humans, but a lot of fairies are closeted about their hobby, and work a full-time job in IT and are saving up all their paychecks to either get an entire bad dragon collection to decorate their room, because people do that now, or an AC unit for their fursuit, but still have a negative stigma around them due to actual degenerates, and I'm talking less than the 1%, unfortunately being a part of the same community. And historical instances like the fairy convention pizza, which we won't speak about. And once again, for like the 50th time, I'm not a fairy, and my profile picture is a cute bird I found, not a platypus.
Based, little platypus British femboy VR chat enjoyer.
Bit of a long anecdote, but this is the unfortunate reputation of people like the My Hero Academia community, which has been the internet's spittoon for a number of years now, due to some of the fanbase being very vocal about their love for this anime, and almost taking it too seriously, to the point where self-awareness goes out the window. Probably due to the fact most of them are children, with unrestricted access to the internet more than previous years, and they're just having fun. And they like feeling a part of a community with shared interest with others, but once again with instances like this, some internet restrictions and self-awareness, is required. And a lot may grow out of this phase and look back at it and cringe, which is very natural. At their age, I was playing League of Legends. But as a result of this, My Hero Academia is one of the most looked down upon communities, even though the anime isn't that bad for the first 3 seasons. But there's even Attack on Titan fans that have the reputation of being very vocal about criticism towards the anime, and just being very hateful towards anyone that does criticize their anime. But a lot of it comes from the subreddit r/Titanfolk, where the case is probably the people that are being most vocal just take the anime too seriously. I still don't know how for an entire decade people thought Levi was a heartthrob, except for the fact he's the same height as Moist Critical, I guess. And then you have JoJo fans that have the reputation of kissing men on their barely lips. But as said, it's these small pockets of those louder than everyone else that make the reputation of an anime the equivalent of a mouldy cum shot. But most of these fandoms have a lot of creativity and good cosplay at the end of the day. But you can see both sides of an anime fandom at events and conventions. That's why there's such an emphasis on wearing deodorant.
Onika, I have a dick!
One of the many positive sides of anime is no, it's not the anime titties. Yeah! The good plots and storylines, or the new shade of red being painted on my walls. When the anime you just binged ends and you're feeling empty and even more lonely than ever, or heaven forbid they start releasing the seasons in parts. No, the best part about anime is that there is so much anime. Oh, you like Harry Potter, you Hufflepuff bitch? There's about 20 different animes about a high school specialising in magic. Even one where he's just reincarnated Ziz.
He forced me to trick you. I hate myself for what I did.
A musclehead that's only magic is his muscles and the trend running through his veins. You want an anime like Dexter?
He knows what happened at the end.
I don't know why this show has so many edits of it, like goddamn. But there's Code Geass that turns it up by 10 times. He's a student by day but a masquerading hero by night, coordinating and murdering people in droves. Specifically the British. One of my favourite animes, by the way. Oh, you have a fetish for being cooked? There's that one scene in Berserk. You want an anime like Breaking Bad? You actually got me there, but if you're looking for an anime like Better Call Saul, there's Ace Attorney, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, there's so much anime out there, there's something for everyone. But with an anime for everyone, there becomes a hunger for more anime. Anime that is more graphically complex. More manga turned into anime, more sloppy isekai we all hate but can't stop watching for some reason. But because of this demand, some animes are rushed or not as good quality as people would have thought. Or maybe it slightly differs from the manga, leading to everyone bitching about it on Twitter how a single bulge in a person's pants in the manga that was not fully translated into the anime contributed to the story's plotline heavily and how disappointed they are. But from these expectations, demands, crunch times, and maybe just Japan in general, you have people that make the anime basically living and sleeping at their offices and giving all their time to tediously draw frame by frame to make sure it's properly depicted and presented in Dan 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 how much a dump truck the grandmother is. But don't worry, there is something just as tedious but slightly more efficient. CGI. If you're a hardcore anime fan, just the mention of CGI in your favourite anime probably just made your lip quiver and cheeks tighten up, because CGI has an infamous reputation in anime, well, it's not just anime anymore, due to how god-awful it is, and how much people shit on it, because it always stands out from the non-CGI components like a landmine in a pile of infants. Many people describe it as 1 minute you're enjoying absolute cinema, then you're slapped out of it by something that looks like the Temu version of the main character. But don't worry, this one scene is still more visually appealing and provides more depth to the story than anything High Guardian Spice had to offer. Attack on Titan, Overlord, and rest in peace for any hopes of a non-CGI series, Berserk. All have used it and all have been criticised for it, because it just doesn't look good. And many people feeling if there is time constraints or lack of company resources that warrants the use of CGI, why didn't you just delay the episode? We would have been equally annoyed and complained equally as much, but I don't like Eren looking like an out-of-the-box G.I. Joe. So either way, you cannot win with the anime fans. And in the current age, less people want to go to the front lines, that is, working in the anime industry, probably due to the fact they have historically been underpaid and overworked even for Japanese standards. So with less people wanting to work in the anime industry to make your isekai slop, combined with the popularity and craving for anime growing exponentially each year, you may be seeing a lot more CGI in the future. But hopefully they follow examples like Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man, who use CGI very sparingly and only in short bursts, so your small brain and eyes can't even register it happened. Or maybe Land of the Lustrous, that was entirely CGI, with most of the time it looking amazing. But I think CGI is only going to get better, because once again, you cannot beat the nightmare that was the Berserk adaptation.
Yummy. Can I get a piece of that ass, Gordon? Hit me up after work today, hun.
Anime has changed significantly over the past 10 years. It's no longer a looked down upon media, and nobody physically recoils now after expressing your interest in it, as the popularity of anime has skyrocketed these past 10 years. But due to that popularity, a lot of problems have come with it, like people taking the media too seriously and attacking anyone that dares criticize it. And also due to said popularity, there is a higher demand for anime than there has ever been, with anime production companies finding it hard to keep up with that demand and return something that is high quality and respectable to the source material, whilst dealing with their own problems like a historical lack of manpower. But that is anime as it is today, and all I had to say. Bye bye.